Here we are at the Aerodome, getting a little backwards view. So what is this thing?
It's a Packard moving van.
Wow.
And actually, what happened about 3 or 4 years ago, the radiator leaked, so it always had water in it, and we thought the water was drained, and it wasn't. So it has 2 cracks in the radiator, so we're trying to get that fixed.
Okay.
But what's nice, and this is another one that really needs a good restoration, because when you look inside, you want to come over here.
Yeah.
And then open the door. You can see, if you spent some time, that would be pretty sweet in there.
Oh, this is just beautiful.
Yeah. Has the wainscoting up on the ceiling.
Now, how did they manage to get this? How did the
I don't know the history of this one. But this one was used in a movie. And I forget, Stu might know the name of the movie, and that's, I'm going to find out so you can see it, and that's why this painting is on the side.
Baldwin Moving and Storage.
Right.
Now, what year is this rig?
I think it's like around in 1918, something around there.
Wow.
Around World War I.
Wow. And you guys used to just drive it around?
Oh, yeah, they used to drive it all the time, like I said. And then when the radiator went probably about 5 years ago, then that's when it stopped running.
Now, what's the big metal thing behind it?
Everything in the back there is the turret off the tank.
Oh,
we tried
okay.
to make the tank as light as we could
To
get it in there. And plus, so we could get inside to work on it.
Now, somebody built. This is more modern and home.
This is just the kids built it.
It has they tow it? Yeah. Is it driven?
No, it's got a little lawnmower engine in it.
Cool. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Now so it goes out once in a while and just putts around.
Ride it around.
Belt drive. And obviously drives the back wheels. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, what's this thing? This is
a Fokker D8. It was built by Brian Coughlin. He's another pilot here who's a lot of his airplanes are here. But this one's a real performer. This was at the end of World War I, so it's basically the pinnacle of World War I design.
Okay, I see the machine guns
right
on top. Now, you say he built it. It was partly. Some parts are original, and
no. Everything he built from scratch. The only thing that would be original, like the original airplane, would be the engine. And you can see the engine.
It's a rotary.
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool. It is scary because you got a lot of mass spinning there.
In the 60s. Cole Palin was flying an airplane like this that had a rotary. This isn't a rotary. It's a just radial engine. And he was behind Dick King in the Sopwith Pup, and the cylinder let go.
Oh.
So Dick King saw this black thing fly over his airplane.
Right.
And then he turned and he saw Cole Palin make an emergency landing really quick. So
this was built by somebody hand built this. This was just built. Okay. And this guy?
That's original.
That's an original.
It's a 1918.
She's an oil dripper. Another rotary?
Yep.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Not too much.
Oops. But yeah, it turns right around. Wow. Now this is one of those that was towed up from Long Island?
I think so. I'm not sure the history of this one. Yeah, it's castor oil that mixes with the gas.
Wow. I mean, that's cloth, right?
Yep, fabric.
Now, what was this used for? Training, or are they actually?
This was a trainer. It was originally probably for observation.
Boy, that's one scary thing to be flying around in. Look at that.
Well, they don't fly. They just hop it down the field. They go maybe about 10 feet off the ground.
Even at that, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
And then
this is also Brian Coughlin's Indian motorcycle.
Beautiful.
Sidecar. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful. This guy is another handmade?
It's a Fokker triplane.
Okay.
And it's home built also.
Beautiful.
But it has a much more modern engine. Yeah.
God, you gotta love this stuff.
Hey, Bob.
Hey. Oh, this one actually has a number in the back. This guy?
This is another, Brian Coughlin built this from scratch.
Okay.
And the engine I think he got from the Aerodome. But it's just beautiful. One of the original pilots here, Dick King, he did this so it looks exactly like Dick King's plane from 50 years ago, which is nice of him. Really nice.
So he built it. He
Everything.
he spun that aluminum.
Yeah, I don't know how the heck he did that, but yeah, he made the whole thing.
God, you have some talented people here.
Yeah. And Ken Katzen's the guy who built the Spirit of St. Louis. He built this.
He built this
But
one.
it has an original Mercedes 6-cylinder in it, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it's probably just a work of art.
Yeah, no, that I made new valve guides for that probably about 18 years ago, and it was nice working on it.
So, Kurt, you've been here since high school.
No, when I was a junior in high school, I was here, but then of course went to college and everything, so I didn't come back until about 20 years ago, and that's how long I've been, volunteering.
Yeah, I mean, just beautiful. You need more outbuildings, though.
Well, we need new ones.
Yeah, that's just.
They're all falling down. They all leak. That's the problem.
Well, this has always been a shoestring operation, right?
Yeah. And then over there, there's two Model Ts. The one on the right is our oldest Model T. I think it's a 1915, the black one.
Okay.
And then on the left is a blue pickup truck Model T. I think it's about a 1924 or something like that. And in the center is a Renault. It was a Renault touring car. And for 1914, the engine was shot in. I was trying to keep it going. But I thought we'd convert it to make it look like a Martin taxi. Because in World War I, the Germans were almost going to go into Paris. So they commandeered every taxi in Paris to go to the front. So something like 5,000 taxis. So what we did was we modified it and we took off, it wasn't that much as far as taking off the back seat and stuff, and then built all this to make it look just like a Martin taxi. And then we made up a little sign on there just to give.
And the motor is?
You know what's amazing? The motor, this isn't the original motor, but this 4-cylinder was sitting in the bottom of the barn across the street forever. So my buddy, who's an aircraft mechanic, just a phenomenal mechanic, John Stover, we took it out of the dirt, and I said, John, could you take a look at this engine? Because it looks like it's in pretty good shape. And it was like new.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just not used?
This is a Saxon engine, probably about a 1919, 1920. Which, the car itself is a 1913, so it's not that much newer, really. And it runs really well. But this has a conical clutch in it, and it took me a while to sand it down because I put new material on it. But, with that, it just grabbed a little bit. But now we've got it running pretty nice.
Yeah, it had to break itself in.
Well, it's just part of the conical clutch needed welding, and of course when you weld it, you distort it a little bit. So it's for that.
That's the gas tank back there.
Right.
And these all run. This
one needs a rear wheel, which we need money for that. But this is, I think, the oldest we have. I think it's 1915.
And all original running gear also.
Oh yeah.
The gas lights.
Right.
You could see what you were gonna run into and die from just before you ran into it. I think it was more to keep other people from crashing into you.
Well, what's crazy is I used to ride it all the time before I broke my hand. But we have a 1917 Indian Power Plus motorcycle, and it has the rear tail light. You can see it. It has a chimney like this. And I started looking at it. I thought, so when you're riding it, you had the little acetylene tank. So and they use the Indian Power Pluses at the front. So now here you are, you're worrying about people shooting at you.
And you got to settle in.
You got a gasoline. If it's at night, you got gasoline here, and you got a flame there and a flame there. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Somehow people survived.
Yeah, they made it.
Now, in the back of that thing, you don't store anything in the back of the old moving van, do you?
I'm sure there's stuff in there.
Because you have the same space problem I do when it comes to all my Honda stuff.
Well, they've got a design for. They're going to try and redo this section right here next year. They're trying to get the money for that.
So, for me to move my Honda collection here, I'd have to donate a building, eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Would they take care of my stuff?
Your Honda collection?
Yeah.
That's not really World War I.
It doesn't fit in at all, but if it brings people in, what the heck? You never know.
No, but it's got to be period.
It's got to be period correct for World War I. How about if I donate a really big building?
That would do it. So this is a 1920 Buick here. And it runs pretty well. I'll just show you.
See, behind the scenes, we get to go under the rope. Oh.
But you can tell it's an original engine because the original engines, the head and the cylinders were all one unit.
Right.
Which made it nice. You didn't have to worry about that leaking, but it's also made it harder to do any valve jobs or anything. On the flathead ones, they give you the access right to the valve, so you could clean the valves up without removing the engine or anything.
Now, you've got it to the point where none of your crew hot rods any of this stuff anymore.
Some of them abuse them.
Oh, really? They still beat.
The younger people, they think they're like toys.
Oh.
So we do have somewhat of a problem, but we try to keep it in check.
Yeah. Now, is this a handmade?
Ken Caston's the guy who made the Fokker D7 and the Spirit of St. Louis. Basically made 90% of this.
Wow.
But it's an E2. It's the precursor to the Piper Cub.
Okay. He managed to find the engine somewhere.
Oh yeah, he's got about 3 or 4 of those. And this is a 1916 Studebaker.
Boy, it's a grand car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge.
They ran this a lot, but then, I don't know how long ago, maybe 18 years, 20 years ago, they blew out the rear end. So it sat in the back over there for the longest time. So I spent one whole winter. You can't get a rear end for a 1916 Studebaker.
No.
And somewhere along the line, maybe when Polk Halen got it, didn't have an engine. So they put a 6-cylinder, I'll show you, a 6-cylinder Chevy engine in it.
Okay.
With the transmission. So what they did was they locked this in the first gear, the tranny. And the Studebakers back then, they bolted the transmission to the rear end. So they used that transmission. But of course, I couldn't find the guts for a rear end, so where is it? Saugerties. There's a junkyard. It's got trees growing in it, but it's got cars kind of like this in there.
Wow.
So this one, they blew the rear end on this. So we got 2 rear ends. This one was basically a 1-for-1 swap. But this one, I had to take the transmission out and modify the heck out of the rear end to make the Buick guts work. Because, obviously I had to use the axles and everything so I could make the wheels work.
Right.
So, and that was like I spent that whole winter on my back underneath this rear end to get it to work.
Well, you make a measurement, you cut a part, then you make another measurement, cut another part, yeah.
But then the shifter, whereas the shifter went to the back to the transmission, now I had to modify this so the shifter shifts the Chevy transmission.
Wow.
So that took a little bit too.
That's beyond cool though.
Oh yeah, you have to love doing it.
Well,
otherwise,
and the thing is, if you're doing it, you can't walk away and say, I'm going to.
There's not, like you said, there's only the 3 of us.
Right. Somebody else will finish this for me.
Sometimes there's a 4th guy, but he had a baby, Sean. He's great, but It's just he's got other priorities.
Yeah, if you got a baby and a wife and all that,
Yeah, it makes it tough.
Now,
He's really good.
what's this guy? Oh,
This
the wing.
is a Spad. This was a home built, but it has a modern engine in it, and it was coming back from an air show, and the guy ran out of daylight, so he landed in on a golf course, but he didn't see the ditch.
Oh.
So he kind of packed it in, and so it's rebuilt, recovered. And Brian Coughlin again did that, but if you have a metal propeller on the engine and it hits the ground, the whole engine has to be refurbished. So
Yeah, that's a lot of energy you're transferring
so
back into it.
crankshaft.
How about this guy?
They bought that. That's somebody built. It's an SE5, and I don't know what's going to happen with that one. There's some they're going to give away to museums and stuff, but this is non-flying.
Okay,
and these are the wings for this Spad.
Could I just sneak under you, because you got this other guy in the back here.
Well, that's our second rise plane, and that's the wings are getting refurbished for that.
Okay.
Because they have another one identical to this that they give rides during the week.
That is scary though, going up in in some of this old stuff. And now, way in the back there, this thing. What's
that
this?
That one is. Let me see which one that is. Yeah, this is the Davis, which is it's a parasol. It's a high wing.
Okay.
And what they did with this, which is really nice, it just has one top wing.
Right.
So when they would do the act, they would had these two dummy wings down the bottom, so it looked like a two-winger.
Right.
So, like the flying farmer would get in and he'd say, "Oh no, don't take off in that thing." So the guys would hold on to the bottom wing. They would give it the throttle, then the bottom wings would fall off. It was really a great act. But this one, it needed to be recovered and refurbished. So.
A monster engine there.
It's a V12 Hispano-Suiza. It's really probably a 1930s engine that was in somebody's field, and they gave it to the Aerodome, but I don't know what we would ever do with it.
Well, you never know. There might be a piece or a gear or something that...
It'd be something to barter.
Right. Oh, that's true.
Find a museum that has something that we want to trade them.
And in the back there, that looks like an original...
That's an airplane like this one, but it was used for spraying. So it had a big hopper tank in it for spraying crops.
It was a local airplane?
No, this was in Arizona.
Okay.
He got 5 of these, 2 of them that he made flying.
Well, I didn't realize that a bunch of the planes were hand built. They're not period. They're hand built.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the original ones they're either in the Smithsonian or the Air Force Museum. He donated them.
And this is just a wing for demonstration purposes?
No, that's the wing they're using for a template, and that's for the rides plane. That's the fuselage over there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And this is a 1934 Indian 4-cylinder.
Was it really down Roosevelt Field?
No, I had this running pretty nice, and for the gala for the Spirit of St. Louis, I redid it so it looked like because whenever you see the original video, it shows the cops escorting the Spirit of St. Louis. So I modified it and put all those signs on there and make it look like it was from Roosevelt Field.
You actually putt this around occasionally?
Oh no, we would ride it every week. Yeah, but the front fork broke and the front tire blew out, so it needs work.
They broke, huh?
Well,
Springer
it
front
loose.
end.
It was loose, so it cocked, and then this is not the smoothest field in the world. And of course, the tire was old anyway, and they blew the tire out.
You weren't driving at that time. Oh, it's coming out. There we go. The wing is amazing.
Moving useless stealth car.
He hot rods it. You're going to run up to him and give him a smack? Yeah.
Whatever you say, Alex, you're the boss.
Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. Hopefully there's a part 2. Bye now.